When it comes down to spiritual warfare, many, and I'm talking about believers, many of us lack proper knowledge. And the lack of proper knowledge is fatal. If you mistake a spirit of fear for a spirit of poverty, you may be putting all your effort in changing a financial situation while the financial situation is just an outworker of something much deeper. So that thing you're fighting may vanish out of your finances, but may reappear in physical sickness. Or let's say that someone was having a bad day. That individual thinks it was just a bad day, but was really a bad sign, a symptom that something horrible was about to happen. Let's say that you, as a believer, you didn't notice that. And you think, well, this individual was just overreacting, and later you hear that individual was shot or whatever. Listen, believers have to be alert. We must have proper knowledge. That is why I began making videos about spirituality on YouTube. Because I noticed way back then that too many people lacked proper understanding. And I ended up having a whole YouTube ministry reaching, I don't know how many people. I have over 2.5 million views on YouTube by now, over 4,700 videos, all of this to teach believers worldwide. Listen, in this video, I'm going to talk about demonic forces. I'm going to explain what a demonic force is, how it develops, how it functions, and how we can destroy them. I said we, because we need to operate together as the body of Christ. Too often, believers want to do things on their own individually. Now, individually, as a believer, you can achieve a lot, but you can achieve much better together. So, to achieve better together as believers, we need to be on the same page in agreement with Christ, and we need to know what we are dealing with. Now, what is a demonic force? A demonic force is when groups of people, so I'm talking about human beings, when human beings are in agreement with one another, and this agreement causes an energy shock to the environment. So you have human beings coming together in agreement, and all their energy fields together give off this shock in the atmosphere, and that shock is the strength they emit together as a group of people. Now you may say, Rashid, why is that a demonic force? Now, that same thing I've just explained can also be done in the positive. You can have a group of people coming together. Let's say there was a hurricane and there are many homes that are destroyed, and you have a group of people coming together and they are rebuilding the community. Now they are together, they're also giving a shock to the environment, but it's a positive shock. So a demonic force is a collective human force in the negative. That's what a demonic force is. When human beings come together in groups, we become spiritual forces. Yes, so if you are watching football with your friends and you're energized when a goal has been made by your team, that is a spiritual force locally. If you go to a basketball stadium and you have thousands of people shouting and screaming together to energize their team, that's a spiritual force. Or if you are at a party and everyone is dancing on the beat, having a great time, very in excitement, that's a spiritual force. So spiritual forces are collective human gatherings and actions over a longer period of time, so longer than a few minutes. Some spiritual forces are dissolved quickly. For example, if you go to a party, after a few hours, the party is over. Or if you go to a football match, it's over after like 90 minutes. Some spiritual forces are longer. For example, if there's a project to solve crime or whatever, so spiritual forces are common in human life and in daily life also. We just don't know that those are spiritual forces. A demonic force is demonic because you have a group of people together convinced that what they're doing is correct, but in fact, what they're doing is causing ruin to everyone on the earth. Let me give a clear example of a demonic force. You walk into an office and everyone is talking bad about one of the employees, I mean. Nobody can stand that employee. They all have a bad word about him. What's going on? You have a bunch of people who are dissatisfied at life, and now they've made this employee, who's a colleague of theirs, their target. So now they all are feeling at ease because all their tensions are transferred collectively to that coworker. And that coworker now will experience psychic attacks here and there, not knowing what's happened to him. So what happened? That bunch of colleagues together has become a demonic force. And because it's emotional investment against that colleague is a demonic force that will last longer because now people are glued energetically to one another. That is why it's very important to walk away when conversations become sour and bitter. You know why? When conversations become sour and bitter and you remain, you'll be sucked up by the magnet of negativity that's activated by them. So if you are somewhere and people keep murmuring and complaining all the time, and they just want to unload themselves, if you hang around there, you'll be affected by the negative energy. And if you're not watchful, you unconsciously may join them in the murmuring and complaining, and now you are part of a demonic force. Or it can be that you have this artist who released a new song. A lot of people can't stand that artist because when he was in high school, a lot of people thought that the guy was cocky, whatever, and now that same guy that nobody liked now has his music played on all radio stations everywhere. So all the people from the past who want to remember him as that loser, they're now faced with his prosperity and success every day. So all those people come to boil on the inside, they're becoming bitter and angry. Then they want sympathy from others. So now you will have cancerous bubbles of negativity that develop because the people that knew that guy in the past, they have moved on. Some live in other cities, some live abroad. So wherever they are, they gather other people to feel sorry for them for being bitter against that guy. So now you have bubbles of negative energy growing against this artist, and before you know it, you have demonic forces operating against that guy. So a demonic force is man-made. It does not come from fallen angels nor from Nephilim spirits. It's man-made and demons make use of it. So now you know what a demonic force is. So, how does a demonic force operate? A demonic force can only operate if there is a common agreement. Everyone must hate that artist, or everyone must be upset with this or that. There must be one clear agreement they're all invested in. In a demonic force, the stakeholders, that means the human beings that make up that demonic force, they may not get along with one another. They may even be people that can't stand one another. They may even be rivals or enemies who are about to kill one another. When they have a common agreement upon which they can join strengths to take someone down, that's a demonic force. So, let me give an example. Let's say you are an Afro-American, as they call it in the United States, or you're just black, and you manage to start your own corporation, and your corporation is now successful in multiple countries. But let's say that in the United States you have this racial archetype of blacks being subservient or criminal. So when American society is faced with your legal, let me say with your prosperity on a legal way, so without any criminal activity, they are shocked, they can't handle it. So now, because people are offended, because the worldview is challenged, now you'll have a lot of psychic violence against that black man and his corporation. Some of his employees may become sick, some of the customers may suddenly feel frightened and not purchase anymore, so now that corporation will lose income, that corporation may even go bankrupt due to the psychic violence. Why? Because there are demonic patterns in American society that people hold on to. And because people hold on to demonic patterns, they end up forming demonic forces against anyone that threatens or challenges those patterns. Or it can be that nobody likes your father, and now, because your father is not around and you are a descendant of your father, they now want to continue their blaming on you. Well, you have nothing to do with what they're accusing your father of. And if you refuse to tolerate their blame, they may become more upset. So now they will become desperate to look for some excuse to dump their violence on you. So demonic forces are collective bubbles of negative energy that human beings generate and eventually shoot at their targets for relief. As a believer, it's very important to understand this. So it's not a fallen angel nor a Nephilim spirit that's fighting you. It's human beings energizing harm against you, and evil spirits are fed by the negative energies. Now evil spirits are empowered to act. So evil spirits need to feed off of negative energy. So they're energizing evil spirits, and now evil spirits can operate against you easily because they're energized by them. And evil spirits are doing what they want to see happen to you. So if within a week you almost had accidents 5 times, now you know it's a pattern. Now you know that there are evil spirits causing disruptions so that accidents happen around you. Who sent those evil spirits? Those demonic forces sent them. Those people that form those demonic forces, they may not even be aware that they're energizing evil spirits, but it doesn't matter. They wish harm on you so that you are in a negative daylight and they are relieved. So their wish on you is energized by their negative energy, and demons are fed by it, and demons now act out what they want as an extension of the energy bubble of negative energy that they have generated. So that's how it goes. So if you focus on only the evil spirit, casting it out, that's one thing. But how come the evil spirit is there? Who sent evil spirit? Who energized evil spirits? Sooner or later, you need to deal with the root. So how do you deal with demonic forces? If it is possible to avoid upsetting people, do that. Not because you owe them this type of acknowledgement, but if it's possible to bypass confrontation, you do that. You don't need unnecessary conflict. Secondly, if you sense that things around you are going wrong, suddenly, out of the blue, pray Psalms 91, Psalms 23, begin to decree and declare repercussions on the camp of the enemy, do all of that immediately. Don't wait. Don't wait until the symptoms get worse. Too often believers wait until the symptoms get worse, and when the symptoms have gotten worse, now it's much harder to deal with what happened. Harder in the sense that it has escalated too much. The moment you sense weird sensation around you, go into prayer and fasting immediately. And when you pray, target the demonic force. Decree and declare confusion in the camp of your enemies. Decree and declare that all demonic forces defeat themselves and fall apart. Decree and declare the demonic forces against you will clash with one another and be so distracted by turning on each other that he won't even remember you. Deal with the root of it, which is the demonic force. If the demonic force came into being because people adhere to demonic patterns in society, then pray and sponsor believers to become prosperous so that those demonic patterns will be exposed for what they are. Because once the demonic patterns are exposed for what they are, you will also have less quote unquote justification for the negative agreements people are holding on to. So understand that demonic forces are something that you will encounter during this lifetime as a believer. Don't try to avoid it because that's not possible. Don't take it personally. Those people that form demonic forces, they're either deceived or they're simply out of their mind because they're reprobate. Whatever the case is, you must be delivered from what's going on. And yes, vengeance belongs to God, but the repercussions should be enforced by us. Listen, vengeance belongs to God. God himself will put them in their place to reveal unto them who's God. That's God's place to do that. Our place is to enforce repercussions to preserve safety and sanity in the human population. So that's our part. We don't avenge ourselves. God avenges us, and we enforce practical consequences to preserve safety and sanity in the community. That's our part. That is what we ought to do. So, demonic forces are not something to play with. When people feel comfortable enough to express to you they do not like you, that's a warning signal that they will agree harm on you sooner or later. Don't submit trying to please them to win their favor. Don't do that. Don't shake it off like, oh, it's nothing. It is something. It's an expression of threat towards you. And if it's left unchecked, it will grow and grow, and before you know it, your life will be endangered. And if you have children, the lives of children are endangered also. People should be very uncomfortable expressing their negative projections on you. The moment someone is comfortable expressing their negative projection on you, then you know that the next step is literal physical violence or physical attacks. At least when they are frightened to do so, you have the security that they won't come too close and they don't dare to act out. The moment people feel comfortable expressing hatred towards you, it means because they want validation for literally attacking you. And where someone attacks you physically, or it happens at a distance through psychic violence, it's still a physical assault on you. Now, don't take this lightly. Demonic forces can drain you of your natural happiness. It can drain you of your daily strength. It can even drain you when it comes to your finances. So you'll be having all the diplomas and all the good business plans, but finances keep passing you by. Demonic forces. People have agreed that you are not supposed to be rich nor influential. People have agreed that they only want to see you poor. People have made agreements against you, and they've energized those agreements collectively. So you have a demonic force of poverty operating against you. It's time to take this thing seriously. Look, we forgive human beings because Christ commanded us to do so. But we don't reconcile with them unless they comply with justice. Nobody is permitted nor allowed to be part of a demonic force. Nobody. To be part of a demonic force is to be in agreement with darkness, and it is to energize demons. You're enabling filth and harm on the earth when you do that. You have no business doing that. And if you see that people are drawing you into some negative agreement, lose those people. Get rid of them. For real. Of course, do it in a polite and honorable way, but make sure you get rid of them. Look, some of you are listening to this, you have demonic forces starving you right now. It's time for you to rise up, pray and fast, and begin to move forward in life. I know it's not easy, but you have to do it. It's the only way. So bypass demonic forces by not giving them an excuse to attack you, and also crush their cohesion by dealing with the root. That's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.